It was right after Passover, late April 1944. We had been hiding in the attic for days, and suddenly we heard a noise and looked down, and it was the gendarmes and the policemen shouting, "Hurry, pack your things. You have 30 minutes." And they marched us a half a mile up the road. But it was the longest half mile of my life. Pieces of me were being left alongside the road. For the last few years, I had been disappearing. First, I couldn't go to school. Then my friends didn't want to hang out with me. And then my father lost his job. There was nothing left for me in Poleno. We boarded a train and headed for Munkach, which I later found out was a ghetto where they kept the Jews from the surrounding areas. We were only there for a week or two, and then it was time to move again. My mother layered me in clothing and took diamonds and rolled them into my skirt and said, "Hannah, keep these safe. Only use them to buy bread." And I remembered those words. We were pushed onto a cattle car and the doors shut and it was pitch dark. We were traveling for days. And my father noticed that we weren't headed for Tokaj. We had just crossed over the borders into Poland. The train came to a halt and the doors opened suddenly. And I had to adjust my eyes because I had been in darkness for days. And we were ordered to get off the train. We created a chain with our hands. And a man came over with a baton and said, "Put the children down." My mother refused. So he took his baton and he separated us. And I shouted, "I want my mother. I want my mother." And she shouted back, "Hannah, don't worry. I'll see you tomorrow." And suddenly I was alone, 13 and alone. And we were marched towards a great hall in order to take off our clothes. And I remembered I had my mother's diamonds. And we were approaching, I saw they were checking people's mouths. I picked my mouth and I swallowed them. But because I knew the only thing that remained of my beautiful mother Rachel was safe with me.